Hey, I'm always excited to be able to share some time with you guys. Today, a little bit more exciting because we just finished our first full month with our big Honda store on Pre-intice360, and we have a case study to kind of go over all of the data. A lot of great information that we're going to be looking at today, so let's just kind of get into it. So first of all, I'm just going to share my screen. I'm going to show you the case study, and if you want a hard copy of this, just reach out to me. We got some printed up, and they look really great. Got them printed inside this really nice folder here. So I'm excited to be able to share this with anybody that has some interest, or I can just send you a link. Either way, it's really good. So the goal with this is to be able to look at the journey that we've been on with Pre-intice360 and getting this launched in a high volume import dealership in a major metro market, and that is Brandon Honda right here in Tampa, just down the street from us. We're super excited that we've been on this journey. So the case study itself, I'm just going to kind of get into it a little bit. So the first thing that we look at is really an introduction to the Pre-intice360 platform and the case study itself. So for this, we're looking at Pre-intice360. So to bring you up to speed, Pre-intice360 is our full website solution. This is a project that we've been working on for about 4 years. And the years prior to us embarking on this journey, we really have been primarily a widget provider or a services provider as a company. I started this company in 2011, and our first core product that we brought to the marketplace was our Visa Test Drive Offer solution. But we've expanded since then to offer things like really cool trade evaluation tools, soft credit pull tools, full digital retailing technologies, and so on. And about 4 years ago, I really started to look at the marketplace and said, okay, we are a widget provider. We're building these widgets that are relying upon these other website providers to be able to provide a good experience to our dealers and to our customers. Every single one of these website providers did things a little bit differently. So we had to have a solution that worked with all those providers that might not have provided the best use case possible because it had to be adaptable. And it was during that time where we really looked at, well, what would be the best way to be able to provide solutions and services to a dealership, and then ultimately to be able to provide a great experience for the end user. And what we came up with every time that we thought about it was, well, we need to control the entire solution. And that is the journey that we went on. And what we wanted to do is look at, well, if we're going to build a complete website package, what would that look like? What platform did we want to use? What technology did we want to use? How did we want to build and support that solution? What was the hardware that we wanted to serve those from? What kind of bandwidth? Where is the inventory coming from? All of these pieces, we spent the time, we took the time, we went through, looked at all the options, and come up with what we thought was going to be something that was going to be pretty special and be able to provide a great solution that was different than what's in the marketplace right now. And that's kind of the challenge that I still see today, is that the business model is a dealership has to pick from 4 or 5 different website providers, and then they have to go to widget providers to add these widgets to the website, because by itself, the website isn't doing a good enough job just converting leads on its own. And then all of these widget providers, they're not going to talk to each other. They're trying to make sure that their widget is as big and as flashy as possible so they can get the amount of leads they want to get, so they can show the dealer, it's like, hey, you can see that we're doing so good because we're generating all these leads. That might diminish other lead gen platforms that are available on the dealership website because they just happen to get a different type of placement, full page takeover, pop-ups, flashy red buttons that might not be in line with what the dealer wants to be able to get the best experience possible for the customer. So let me get off my soapbox a little bit and let me get kind of back into that. So that's kind of an intro of what we're looking at here with this case study. So we wanted to look at kind of the current state and what we have created. And the purpose of this case study is to really prove out some of the assumptions that we made when we started to build the solution, such as if we build a solution that performs really well, will that performance transition into more lead opportunities? And if we position a specific primary call to action and then have everything else be in kind of a secondary or tertiary position, how would that customer interact with those tools as they're going on their journey? And those are the assumptions that we wanted to kind of prove out. So real quick, the dealership itself, again, Brandon Honda, large volume Honda dealership, largest volume Honda dealership in this metro, one of the most successful, most profitable Honda dealerships in the country. We've had the great honor to work with this dealership for the last 12 years, and we've handled all of the lead generation technologies on their previous website. So a lot of these tools were not new to Brandon Honda and Brandon Honda customers, and they were performing at a very high level. So if we could get any lift, it truly would be based on the overall experience from the assumptions that we made. All right, so dealership. So the background is this dealership recently made a transition to the dealership website that they had up until October 31st. They made that transition in January of 2021. Prior to that, they had another large volume website provider. They made the shift 3 years ago because they weren't happy with the results that they got from their other website provider, hoping that this website provider would have something different. Unfortunately, did not give them the results that they were looking for. And they also did things like this year went out to a third-party premium SEO, non-automotive company that had big promises about how they can increase the lift for organic reach, organic traffic to the dealership website. And unfortunately, that wasn't a solution that made a whole lot of sense. Well, at the same time, they're looking at other website providers. We were at the point where we could provide our full website platform, which we call Entice360. We call it Entice360 because truly it's bringing in all of the tools in one seamless solution for a dealership that all talk to each other, that are all fully integrated. This puts the dealership in a situation where they don't have to go outside to add on widgets. We don't allow other widgets. If a dealership has a must-have technology that they want to add it to a dealership website, of course we can accommodate for that, but not looking to deliver something that is the status quo of our industry. We're looking at creating a new type of solution, and the benefits of those new solutions is what you're going to see in this video today. All right, so a little bit about the background. Let's talk a little bit more about the overall solution. Let me share my screen again here. So we're looking at the overall solution. Again, a holistic solution from Entice that includes our test drive technology with our $25 Visa reward card offer, our trade evaluation suite, which includes an instant trade value from Kelley Blue Book, and we can incentivize the trade appraisal appointment visit with the $25 Visa reward card, plus our express cash offer, giving the customer the ability to get a real offer from the dealership based on some really cool integrations with Black Book and AutoCheck to be able to give a true historical evaluation of their vehicle. Very cool experience to the customer, and be able to provide the same type of solution that a customer might get on Carvana or CarMax or AutoNation, giving a real offer. Our digital retailing technology, which really is a evolution of ePencil, the very first desking solution of its type with the 9-payment grid built right in, giving the customer the ability to kind of logically negotiate with themselves before even coming into the dealership, including finance products, full credit application system built right in. You get that real offer, look up their trade payoff, get their FICO score, calculate a real penny perfect payment based on their credit score and taxes and fees and all of those things, what you want in a digital retailing solution. And then to be able to have that fully natively integrated into a website solution that is designed to be super fast, but again, most importantly, providing this full integrated solution. We chose WordPress because it powers 40% of the web. It's an open source platform that allows, that evolves with the current state of the internet. Browser changes, hardware changes, mobile device changes. WordPress platforms evolves with that, which allows us to focus on the experience instead of focusing on the technical underpinnings of the solution itself. So that's one of the reasons that we chose the WordPress platform, and we serve that through cloud-based dedicated resources infrastructure to make sure that a dealership has its own dedicated resources, that means that the website is going to load super fast, that it's not going to be impeded upon by any other shared website that might be on the same system that your dealership website is. So all of these things went into making sure that we had this holistic solution. The strategy was pretty simple. We took a 45-day approach to when we made the commitment we're going to move forward with a website solution. And to the day that we launched, we created the new website in a staging server, and then we started to work through all of the optimizations. Built a whole lot more pages, added all the SEO content, made sure that we had all the integrations for service and inventory and model research and all the SEO content pages, and really spent that 45 days updating and refining and getting everything as perfect as possible. And one of the things that we're going to look at today in this video is the lighthouse test. And you can see here what our scores are, and we'll actually run a live lighthouse test so you can actually see that in real time. But what we wanted to do is have some base level measurements for what they currently had, and then what that transition was going to be when we went to our live site, and making sure that we were constantly looking towards a measurement schema to know when we were hitting the benchmarks. And right now we're at a point where we're getting a 95 to 97% from a performance standpoint, and 100% for accountability, best practices, and SEO. And part of this case study, we actually compared Brandon Honda's website against 25 other Honda dealerships kind of sporadically throughout the United States. Big volume stores, smaller volume stores, all sorts of different website platforms, all of the big providers, and none of them even came close to the Lighthouse speed test scores that we were able to get with Pre-intice360. So we're very proud of that, but it was by design. It wasn't something that kind of happened by mistake. It was something that we worked at every step of the building process to make sure that it was going to be an experience that was going to score extremely well. So that's kind of what you're looking at right here, is those Lighthouse scores. So the overall impact from day one, we noticed that we were getting more engaged customers, and they were submitting more leads than they were previously. From the first week, we saw 127% increase of new car internet leads, 117% increase in used car internet leads, and the conversion rates continue to grow over time. So we spent the time to really analyze what customers were doing on the dealership website, looked for different challenges, and then ways to solve for those challenges. You know, a couple things that we noticed where we could look to improve the conversion rates was based on how we were presenting the overall price, where we would show the MSRP of the vehicle and then give the customer the ability to request a price. And we had really good success with it as those numbers shown there. But what we did is we added in another layer where we put in the everyday regular internet price, put a line through that, and then gave the customer the ability to request today's best price. And we gave them a reason that internet prices are change on a daily basis, depending on what the market is, what the available incentives are, what the available inventory is. And that resonated extremely well. And as soon as we made that shift, we saw probably a 15 to 20% increase day over day as we kind of evolved. So we also looked at a page load speed for SRPs. We knew that that was extremely important. One of the key factors or key solutions that we have in our site is we can, on the fly, change how many vehicle images show on that SRP listing. We give the customer the ability to maybe thumb through the images on the SRP, or to get that page to load a little bit faster, we can reduce that just to one thumbnail image. And those are some of the things that we went through, monitoring, noticing, making changes, looking for small incremental increases. And the results really are absolutely fantastic. In this, you will be able to actually see what the Lighthouse score was prior to. So this Lighthouse test was taken just days before we flipped the switch over from the old website to the new website, and immediately we saw a dramatic increase in Lighthouse speed test scores. So we're going to get to that in a little bit. So the results, not only do we use Google Lighthouse as a measuring stick, we also used SEMrush. And in the SEMrush, we went from literally thousands of warnings and errors down to just dozens immediately. And we saw an increase on the overall site ranking. We saw an immediate increase in the secure pages, utilizing some of the other metrics that, forgive me, I forget right now, but really a lift in all of those areas. And maybe I'll do a video specifically just on the SEMrush test that you can use for your dealership website as well. A lot of great tools within that tool. Of course, the outlook for us is strong. So this platform right now, we've been able to get approved through the ad compliance for Honda. And we're looking to partner with other OEMs to open up some of those OEM programs. So if you happen to be an OEM, you're working for an OEM and part of those solutions, we'd love to have a conversation and to show you the results that we're getting from Entice360 and why it is something that every dealership should have the opportunity, if they want to have this holistic approach, to help them generate more leads, get more traffic to the dealership website, organic reach, and so on. All right, so at the end of the day, what we wanted to do is provide a solution that was going to increase the performance of a dealership website as measured in organic traffic to a dealership's website, the conversion metrics of customers when they visit that dealership website, the total volume of unique leads coming from that dealership website, and the overall engagement activities, how engaged a customer was on the dealership website. And that is exactly what we were able to prove out, is that we saw a lift in, I would say, probably a 15 to 20% increase in organic traffic, in referral traffic and direct traffic, traffic from organic video as well. So those metrics, to be able to measure where that organic traffic was coming from. We saw lifts month over month from October to November in those key areas. All right, so the Google Lighthouse test, just a little bit more on that. So the Google Lighthouse test, I think, is really a great way to measure your website compared to anybody else's, because it puts you on an equal footing. It's going to measure things like performance, which you can see here, that measures how fast page loads and becomes interactive. Key metrics includes first contentful paint, or FCP, speed index, largest contentful paint, or LCP, time to interactive, TTI, total blocking time, TBT, and cumulative layout shift. So these metrics give insights into the loading experience from a user's perspective. So why is that important? Well, if you remember a few years ago, Google did a Google Dealer Playbook. And part of that Google Dealer Playbook was a section early in the playbook about page load speed. They did studies across multiple industries and website performance, and found that for every additional second in page load speed, you would lose a dramatic amount of ultimate lead conversion. I mean, it was like precipitously dropping from 30% for every second over 3 seconds from a loading standpoint. So extremely important to make sure that the site is loading super fast. And if you think about it in your own experience, you go to a dealership website, if it's not loaded and ready to be interacted with within 3 seconds, there's a good chance that you're going to bounce away. Accessibility. So accessibility is another key area that I had to do some research on for us to really understand a value proposition for dealers for accessibility. And one of the elements there that I had, kind of thought is that, well, as long as I put an accessibility widget on my website and I got that little accessibility icon and a customer can click up and open up those tools, my thought was, okay, now I'm accessible. So I actually went out to try to find the best accessibility widget to put on the website and offer that to our potential dealers. But the reality is the accessibility widget has nothing to do with your site being accessible. Your site being accessible is really about making your site available to be utilized by somebody with disabilities. And that is going to be different for the different types of disabilities. Adding the widget to the site doesn't change the content that's on your site. For example, a big part of that is, or one element of being accessible, is to make sure that you have a tab order that allows a screen reader to tab from element to element to element. And if your site isn't doing that, the accessibility widget isn't going to add that functionality to it. Another thing is the alt text. The alt text is designed to describe what is in a particular image, for example. So if you don't have a good quality alt tag description for that image, somebody that might have challenges with seeing your site, they're not going to understand what you're trying to tell them with the images that you have on your dealership website. So it's those elements that need to be complete for the site to be accessible. And again, the accessibility widget has nothing to do with that. So what we did is we built out our site to to take in consideration all of those accessibility best practices. Now, why is that so important? Well, because when a company has a website, the American with Disabilities Act has stated that that is part of them doing business. Just like you need to be handy capable you physically in your dealership location, your dealership website needs to be that as well. Now, I'm going to say, I'll put a little disclosure out there. I'm not an attorney, and I don't even pretend to be. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn last night. But what I'm telling you is that in regards to the accessibility widget, doesn't make your site accessible. That's information that I had found online when doing my research about which one I should use. And that was provided by an attorney. I recommend that you Google that, go to YouTube and search for that. And also, I'm looking specifically at the accessibility score inside of the Google Lighthouse speed test, ensuring that we have all of the proper attributes to make the site more screen reader friendly and with keyboard navigation. All right, so best practices, I think that kind of goes without saying. This covers a wide range of categories to make sure your website is really designed for the modern web, that you're utilizing the best practices to be able to provide a good overall user experience. And then, of course, SEO, to make sure that all of the meta tags, the description tags, the image tags, HTTPS status codes, all of those things are in place to make sure that you're getting the most out of your search engine optimization, which really means that you're going to have a better chance to get more organic, free traffic to your dealership website. So that is, I'll come back over here, share my screen. So you can see a lot of that information here: performance, accessibility, best practice, SEO. Now, the results. So that's probably the most important thing is, well, what are the results? So the results, in my opinion, are absolutely spectacular. We went from a 31-day month to a 30-day month. We went from a month that was better to a month that was worse, just from a market standpoint. Interest rates, inventory. I mean, it was very challenging for a lot of people. Used car values, all of the things that we know. And November is typically a tougher month. It's not a thrust month. It's not a big month like December or July or January. So it's a little bit softer than normal. And going from an October to a November, still, we saw a 52% increase in leads. That's a big number. But I'm going to tell you specifically where we were able to get those lifts from. So initially, so you can see an example of how our SRP is set up, and this block that you see here is mimicked on our VDP as well. So you can see here the unlock price primary CTA, which we talked about before. We have an MSRP, an internet price with the line out, a line through it, and get today's price as that primary CTA. When this was all put in place, we went from the old website provider that had a version of this, but not the same, generated 431 unique leads. November, we saw 567 unique leads coming from the primary CTA. The other CTAs that we have on the dealership website is going to include our $25 Visa reward card offer, our trade value, get a real offer for your vehicle, get pre-approved in your free credit score, or build your deal or get your terms. That's going to be what we consider the secondary CTAs, and it's exactly how we want it to be. So when you have your secondary CTAs put visually in second position, we know that a customer will more often engage with getting the best price, and we want to do that. We got 567 leads. From there, you can see the rest of the leads that we got. So get trade value, 316 leads. Now, to be able to get a trade value, that's also going to be on special landing pages. It's going to be as a primary CTA in other areas right on the home page and so on. So not all of these secondary calls to action are going to be just on that SRP and VDP, although most are. But this is pretty indicative of the reality of the internet as we know it now, is that the second most important thing a customer might be looking for when they visit a dealership website is what their vehicle is worth. So 316 trade leads, which is up from 218. Keeping in mind that it's the same tool, old website, new website, we saw with no more additional marketing dollars, but we saw a nice increase in leads utilizing the same technology. The reason that is that the site itself was more accessible. It was more easy to navigate. It was faster. These are quantitative results. That's not me just saying that I think is a better experience. We were able to prove it with the testing that we did. Now from there, you can see that building our deal was the next most important CTA, 267. Now this is replacing an existing digital retailing tool from another provider. So 116 to 263, which is not unexpected based on the way that we interact with our digital retailing technology. But that's a whole nother video. Okay, so in this case, we're also going to look at, we had 92 credit score leads, and that jumped up to 226. Again, the way that we're positioning the offer, the way that we're utilizing it as a primary CTA in multiple different pages, and the way that we have it set up as a secondary CTA natively installed on the dealership's website, we were able to more than double the overall leads. And when I say fully integrated, let me just share with you a little bit by what I mean by that. So when a customer is visiting your dealership website and they submit a lead, so they're providing their first name, their last name, their email address, and phone number. Maybe it's the primary CTA and they want to get the best price. Once they do that, they're not done shopping. They are going to continue to explore. They're going to continue to review different information that you have on your website. They're going to look at different vehicles. They might submit a get best price on multiple different vehicles during multiple different trips to your dealership website. And the same thing is once they find a vehicle, and I see it all the time, is you'll see them get the price, and then 5 or 6 minutes later, we'll see them get a trade value. 5 or 6 minutes later, then we'll see them get pre-qualified. And since all of our tools work together, once they provide their information in one form and they engage with another one of the tools, it's automatically going to pre-fill that information. I can even show you just real quick what I mean by that. So I can come here, I can go into a new car inventory. When I go into the new car inventory, let's say that I want to sort this, filter this by a certain payment range, let's say, for example, and then I come down here and I say, okay, this is the vehicle I want to schedule my test drive. When I open that up, you can see that I'm sorry, I'm not even showing you that right now, so let me So I come in here, find the vehicle that I want. Let's say I can get the best price. I can open that up there, or I can come down here. I can schedule a test drive. And you can see here, I have the customer's information already added. First name, last name, email address, phone number. Whatever customer enters there, we're going to encrypt that, put it in the session information, so the customer comes back and goes into another application, such as, hey, let's get pre-qualified. All that customer's information is also going to show up right there and there. So it's really easy for them to continue their shopping journey. Okay, so now they got the best price, they got pre-approved. Let's find out what my car's worth. So I go here, sell me your car. And in this case, we have the VIN number and the state and the miles from the previous visit. If I click get offer, there's all my customer information. So make it really easy for a customer to be able to continue their shopping journey. Those are the things that you don't get in the current business model of, I'm going to get my website provider I'm going to get my website from this company. And I'm going to get my trade tool from this company. I'm going to get my free credit score tool from this company. And I've even seen where the same company might have other tools that don't communicate to each other like ours do. But that's another, again, that's a video. That's a comment for another video as well. All right, so let's come back to the case study. So lead, all these different areas, $25 test drive offer. You can see here we actually went down by one from a 31-day month to a 30-day month. And my belief is that our $25 Visa test drive offer has been our core product for a dozen years. We have a lot of data around it. We find that the best way to engage a customer with this offer is to present it when they enter the dealership's website and then when they exit the dealership website. So we've had that tool on brandonhonda.com for years, and it's a super effective way to get these high quality leads. And it's as effective on our website as it was on their previous website because we're presenting it at entrance and we're presenting that offers if they don't register at the moment that they intend to leave the site on exit. So I think that's why we're flat month over month, and keeping in mind that we are comparing a 30-day month with a 31-day month. All right, so that kind of brings me to the end of the case study. So I know this video is probably getting kind of long. What is it? Well, it's only 36 minutes. It's long, but not that long. So what I do want to do right now is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to show you exactly how I do a comparison between one dealership website and another. So we're just going to do this kind of on the fly together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm in a website right now, but I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go to clear browsing data. So I'm going to get rid of all my cache. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here. I'm going to go to a brand new incognito window. Then I'm going to close my previous window. And then here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a search. I am going to search another Honda dealerships. I'm just going to go Honda, but let's go with a state. Let's go with Nevada. I haven't done one. All right. So the first one, I always like to do an organic result. So Honda East Las Vegas. I'm going to come here. I've never done a test on this website. I'm not even sure what website provider this is, excuse me. The next thing I'm going to just do a right mouse click. I'm going to go down to inspect. I have my panel down here in the bottom. Yours might show up on the right hand side. This allows me to go right here to Lighthouse. I'm going to run this test. So again, as we're talking, the Google Lighthouse test, what it's going to test for is the performance, page load speed, content painting, time to interaction, all of that. It's going to test for accessibility, making sure that these sites are accessible to people with disabilities. It's going to look at best practices, and it's going to look at SEO. Now, this will be interesting. I see that this is an AutoNation website. I don't think I've ever done an AutoNation site. You would think that these guys would have 100 across the board, being the biggest, or previously the biggest public company in the automotive space. And I know that they have a technology solution themselves, and they're very tech savvy. But let's see what they're doing. Survey says, hopefully it's good. Oh, 87, 80, 59, 83. So that's probably really good. I mean, if you were to compare all the dealership websites that I've done, this is on the higher end, believe it or not. But again, this is AutoNation, very tech forward, savvy solution provider, dealership, and they scored an 87, 80. And you would think, 80, right? Accessibility, public company that's opens themselves up for potential liability. All right, so now we're going to go in the same browser. We're going to do brandonhonda.com. I'm going to come down here, right mouse click, go to inspect, come over here, go to Lighthouse, and I'm going to run this. So you can see, and this is what I recommend you do to your dealership website. Clear your cookies first, open up an incognito, close out the other windows, go to your dealership website, right mouse click, go to inspect, go to Lighthouse, and then run the Lighthouse speed test or the Lighthouse test. And then, if you want to, you can go to brandonhonda.com. You're going to see that hopefully we're still getting a super high score. Every time that we do this, we do get that score. But every once in a while, something will sneak in and we need to make some adjustments. But again, overall performance, accessibility, best practices, and SEO, this really should be a benchmark. This is a test that we've used as a widget provider for years, to where we would get a dealership that would say, hey, my website is running slow. They're telling me it's your code on the website. So you can see right there, we're 96, 100, 100, 100. So we're super familiar with this test because we've built our technology to be super fast, leveraging all the best practices, making sure that we have our JavaScript minified, that we're using highly compressed images. And then we took that experience and expertise and applied all that to our new Entice360 website platform. So in this video, we covered a lot. In 41 minutes. Really wanted to go over the case study. We're super excited about this next chapter for Entice being a full website solution provider. We know that we have hurdles in front of us. We know that we can't do business with every OEM, that companies like Shift Digital and JD Power and Internet Brands, these are companies that dictate to manufacturer dealers, franchise dealers, what websites they can use, what digital retailing tools they can use, what trade tools they can use, what chat providers they can use. It really is pretty crazy when you think about that the OEM is dictating to a dealer what they can and cannot use. But that's the landscape that we live in right now. And to be honest, that's what we've done, is we've stayed away from being a full website provider because we knew that those hurdles existed. Being a smaller company, trying to work through the logistics of becoming a certified provider, it's difficult. So what we focused on is making sure that we build the best technology possible, and it's measurable, quantifiable results that we're looking for. So if you're a dealership that is looking for something different than the standard 5 or 6 big giant companies that have thousands of dealership websites, looking for something that's different than your competition, looking for something that is going to perform better than what you have right now, get you more organic traffic, convert more of that traffic, paid or organic, into leads, and then help you get those customers into the dealership showroom so you get that face-to-face opportunity, please reach out to me, david@entice.com. You can reach me even through just making a comment on this video on YouTube. Whatever it takes, reach out to me. I appreciate your opportunity. As I always do, checking out my videos. You're going to find this video and many others at entice.com.